Hello guys, welcome back to my channel History on the World Please. A meditative journey through stillness, silence, and freedom, liberation from problems. A spiritual sleep story, ancient setting, calm narration, part 1. The weight of the world, the story begins in silence. Far beyond the valleys of men, where the wind carried no name and the rivers sang to no ear, there stood a mountain older than memory. Its slopes were covered with slow-moving mists, and the sound of a distant bell seemed to echo from nowhere, as if the world itself were breathing. At the foot of this mountain walked a traveler. He wore simple robes of faded brown, and his eyes, though weary, still held the faint shimmer of searching. His name had long been forgotten, for he had given it to the wind years ago, hoping the wind might carry away his sorrows too. Every step he took was heavy, not from the road, but from the invisible burdens that clung to his spirit. Thoughts, regrets, worries, the kind that live behind the eyes even when the mouth smiles. For many lifetimes he had sought freedom, not from the world, but from the ache that the world left in him. He climbed higher, the air thinned, each breath came slower, deeper. The sound of his steps softened until the earth no longer resisted him. At last, he reached a ledge where the sky opened wide. Below him, valleys, forests, winding rivers. Above him, stars beginning to wake in the velvet dusk. He closed his eyes. "Why," he whispered to the wind, "does the heart not rest? Even when all I want is peace?" The mountain did not answer, but the air grew still, as if listening. Part 2. The Temple of Stillness. By dawn, the traveler found himself before a temple carved from the mountain's own bones. There were no guards, no priests, only open gates and silence. Inside, the walls were painted with faded scenes of rivers flowing backward and trees shedding golden leaves into the sky. In the center of the temple sat an old monk, still as a stone, breathing as softly as morning mist. The traveler bowed. "Master," he said, "I have carried my suffering for many years. I have prayed, fasted, wandered, and meditated, yet the world within me still trembles. How may I be free from my problems?" The old monk opened his eyes. They were neither kind nor cold, only clear, as if they had forgotten how to judge. "Freedom," said the monk, "is not found by pushing away your problems. It is found by seeing that the one who suffers is not who you truly are." The traveler frowned. "But the pain feels real." "So does a dream," said the monk, "until you wake." He gestured toward a small bowl of water beside him. The surface was trembling, rippling from the faintest breeze. The water trembles because the air moves, but when the air rests, the reflection becomes clear. "You do not silence the world, my son. You simply become still enough to see through it." The monk handed him a wooden flute. "Go to the river. Sit, breathe, and do nothing until the river speaks." The traveler took the flute and bowed again. He did not understand, but something in the monk's calm gaze told him he would. Part 3. The River's Whisper. The river lay at the mountain's foot, quiet, glimmering under the silver light of dusk. The traveler sat beside it and waited. Hours passed. He listened to the sound of water touching stone. At first he heard nothing but the noise of his own thoughts, echoes of memory, mistakes, and restless hopes. He wanted to stop thinking, but the more he tried, the louder his mind became. Finally, he gave up. He stopped trying. He simply breathed. And as he did, the river's voice changed. It was no longer just sound. It was meaning, soft and wordless. The flow of the water seemed to whisper, "Everything moves. Everything passes, even pain, if you do not hold it." He looked down at his reflection in the water. For a moment, he saw a stranger. And behind that stranger, he saw light. He raised the flute and played a single note. It echoed through the valley, pure, fragile, fading. With every breath, another note joined it. Not music, but prayer. And as the melody drifted, he felt the edges of his sorrow dissolve like mist in the sun. Part 4. The dream of release. That night, the traveler dreamed. He saw himself standing at the top of the mountain again, but now the sky was vast and filled with moving stars. Each star was a thought, a memory, a worry, shining briefly, then fading into stillness. A voice, not the monk's, not his own, woke through the wind. You were never bound. You only forgot that you were the ski guai, not the storm. He woke with tears on his face, not of sadness, but of recognition. For the first time, the world felt weightless. Part 5. The return. When he returned to the temple, the monk was gone. Only the bowl of water remained, still now, perfectly clear. The traveler bowed once more. He placed the flute beside the bowl and whispered, "Thank you for reminding me to stop fighting what was never mine to fight." As he stepped outside, the morning sun touched the mist, turning it to gold. The birds sang, the wind moved, and the mountain simply was. He walked down the path, not to seek, not to escape, but simply to live. And with every step, he felt lighter. Part 6. The silence beyond. As night fell once more, the traveler sat by the same river where he had once suffered. The water still flowed, but he no longer saw it as a mirror for his pain. Now it was a friend, whispering gently of impermanence. He closed his eyes and breathed slowly. No thoughts, no resistance, only the sound of life unfolding endlessly new. The voice of the monk returned, faint as wind through leaves. Problems end when you no longer call them yours. What you are cannot be troubled. You are the stillness beneath every wave. The traveler smiled, and as the stars appeared one by one, by Eben, he let go of his final question. There was nothing left to solve, only peace to feel. Part 7 is from Liberation. The story does not end with him disappearing into light. It ends with him remaining fully alive, walking through villages, helping, smiling, silent. People asked him why he seemed so calm, so untouched by life's storms. He would only say, "I have stopped trying to hold the wind." And when night came and the moon rose over the mountain, his breath joined the rhythm of the earth. Every leaf that fell, every wave that broke, became his teacher. Every problem that once tormented him now seemed like a small ripple on a vast, peaceful lake. Because liberation was not an escape, it was a remembering. That peace was never lost, only hidden beneath the noise of thought, and in that knowing he rested forever.